Comprehensive news, abridged, and is brought to you a little behind schedule because of the live transmission of the Ogun State Christmas Carol and 9 lessons. I hope you enjoyed it. Welcome, I am Tunji Akintayo. On the news, the highlights: President Buhari leaves Turkey Africa Partnership Summit. National Judicial Council sanctions 3 judges for issuing conflicting orders on PDP leadership crisis. Another set of best graduating students offered automatic employment in Ogun State. Queen Elizabeth cancels traditional pre-Christmas family lunch as France set to tighten restrictions over surge in COVID cases. The road to success and the road to failure are almost exactly the same. Now the news in full. The Ogun State Governor, Prince Abeokuta, has been honored with the Excellent Security Award by the National Association of Online Security Reporters for his contribution to employment generation through the Ogun Youth Employment Scheme, OGS. The Governor, Prince Abeokuta, represented by the Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Alhaji Waheed Odushile, at the ceremony, noted that the award would definitely spur him to continue to do more towards achieving a more prosperous state. He added that his administration opted to pay more attention to its security because it has been realized that capital would only go to where it will thrive.
We should shun. See, I've always been saying this thing. Everything is not about money. There's a place for money, there's a place for integrity. There's no amount of money that can replace integrity. You can buy integrity. Please, I want to plead with you. Take the issue of ethics very serious.
Isidahomen Idumoza, during the conferment of the award on the governor at the governor's office, Abeokuta, disclosed that the Ogun State Youth Employment Scheme, OGS, of the Prince Abeokuta-led government is a huge development towards putting a stop to youths in the state being dragged into the world of crime.
Need to be honored, and in honoring him, that will sufficiently encourage him to do more, so that Ogun State, that has enjoyed relative security, will continue to enjoy that level of security and even more in the years ahead.
Idumoza, while commenting that insecurity was thriving in the north as a result of the high rate of unemployment, added that the rate of unemployment has led to young men in the north being recruited into crime and terrorism. The annual Christmas Carol of the Ogun State government has been held in Abeokuta with a charge on the people to allow God be in charge of their lives no matter the circumstance. In his sermon at the service, the General Overseer of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Pastor Enoch Adeboye, dwelt on the topic, Emmanuel, meaning God with us. He spoke extensively on the supernatural powers of someone special whom God caused to dwell with us as his son, Jesus Christ. Governor Abeokuta, who read the 9th lesson in his address, recalled that the last 2 years have been turbulent the world over with the coronavirus pandemic, but those of us still alive should be excited to celebrate Christmas for the Almighty God giving us the privilege to live. Among those who read lessons at the carol were the wife of the governor, Mrs. Bamidele Abiodun, the deputy governor, Engineer Mrs. Naimo Salako Oyedele, the secretary to the state government, Mr. Tokunbo Talabi, and the Alaki of Egbaland, Oba Dr. Adedotu Aremu Gbadebo. Details of this service will be brought in our subsequent bulletin. Ogun State Governor Prince Abeokuta has described the late Olowu of Owu, Oba Adegboyega Gadosumu, as a veteran broadcaster and traditional man par excellence, whose style of leadership has brought about peace and harmony to his domain. Governor Abeokuta stated this during a condolence visit to the family and Traditional Council of Owu in Abeokuta. Governor's Office correspondent Yusuf Ganiyu reports.
The Traditional Council of Owu Kingdom in Abeokuta warmly received Ogun State Governor Prince Abeokuta as he arrived to condole with the entire sons and daughters of the Asian community over the demise of late Olowo of Owu Kingdom, Oba Adeokuta Dosunmu, who reigned for 16 years before joining his ancestors.
The Owus are one of 4 components that make up Egbaland. The Owu stool is a very old stool that dates way back into the middle 1800s. According to history, meant to be the first son of Ududua. So that makes his passage a very important passage, not just for the Owu people or the Egba people, but for the entire Yoruba race.
Governor Abeokuta said Owu is a very important tribe, not only in the state, but in Yoruba land, adding that Oba Adeokuta Dosunmu was a traditional man par excellence, whose reign and contributions to Owu land cannot be forgotten.
Oba Dosunmu, we all know, was a veteran broadcaster. He will be fondly missed. We recall, remember, that he was one of the architects of the village headmaster. We all grew and were stuck to that program, among so many other things that he accomplished in life. His reign was a very successful reign, 16 years reign.
Speaking earlier, the Otun of Owu, Chief Doja Adewolu, appreciated Governor Abeokuta for condoling with the family and entire Owu Kingdom.
I will appreciate all that you doing and for coming to us at this moment of our need. Kabiyesi Kanko reign for 16 years. This is the greatest occasion that you are taking to console with us. And we appreciate you at our moment of need that are able to be here.
Owu Traditional Council also used the medium to appreciate Governor Abeokuta for the level of development across the length and breadth of the state. Yusuf Ganiyu, Ogtv News.
Chairmen of the 20 local governments in Ogun State have visited the former governor of Ogun State, Chief Olusegun Oshoba, who recently came back to Nigeria from his successful knee surgery in the United Kingdom. Leading them was the chairman of chairmen, Honorable Tunde Gazal, who said they are happy to see Chief Oshoba hale and hearty. Bumi Adigun covered the meeting at Chief Oshoba's home in Abeokuta.
Few months ago, he was out of the country on a trip for a knee surgery. Although he is still recuperating, but he has come back to Nigeria to reunite with his political associates and family members. Chief Olusegun Oshoba, at his Abeokuta home, received the local government chairman in a relaxed mood, taking Chief Oshoba into his good old days. Honorable Tunde Gazal is the chairman of chairmen and he spoke on behalf of the chairman.
You have seen so many things. The history of Nigeria cannot be written without you, and I say that emphatically. You know the history of Nigeria as the palms of your hands. You know the history of Ogun State. And to say that you're a progressive politician is just saying the obvious. Sir, we're happy that in this journey, you were in the forefront, leading us to where we have gotten. And for us, we can only be happy that God in his infinite mercies,
Chief Olusegun Oshoba in return appreciated the chairman for coming to see him, assuring them of his good health.
There is no medication for the healing process. It has to happen naturally. That's why the post-operation is even more painful than the operation itself. Because the tissues, the muscles, the flesh, everything must come back together on its own. But I can assure you, I'm a conformist to what order, and I keep seriously to the training of the therapist, and that's why today I can now bend the leg, and I can at least work with it because I do all the necessary training, and I work 15 minutes every morning, 15 minutes in the evening. So I want to thank you to assure you that I'm here, hearty, and you can help me spread this to our people.
Chief Olusegun Oshoba also thanked Governor Dapo Abiodun for his efforts before, during, and after the surgery operation.
Thank the entire people of the state who, in their silent period, were praying for me. The president is coming next Tuesday, and he's going to showcase what he has done. I commended him on road network, on housing. I commended him on health, where we take him top in terms of vaccination.
The former governor also asked for the support of the local government for the administration of Prince Dapo Abiodun. Bumi Adigun, Ogtv News.
Women empowerment is not to be taken with levity, as they constitute major economic power force for meaningful key to sustainable development. Wife of Ogun State Governor Mrs. Bamidele Abiodun said this while interacting with the International Federation of Training and Development Organizations Committee for Women Empowerment in Africa and Asia. Adebola Oshomoji reports.
Towards empowering young women in small-scale agribusiness, the International Federation of Training and Development Organizations, IFTDO, Committee for Women Empowerment in Africa and Asia, has empowered 18 beneficiaries across the country. Chairman of the committee, Mrs. Janet Yabo Jolaosho, and Permanent Secretary, Ogun State Ministry of Agriculture, Dr. Dotun Shoronke, stressed the need for women to be more empowered through sponsorships from individuals, organizations, and government agencies.
In order to fulfill the MOU signed with United Nations in the area of human resource development, they needed to create a kind of a committee that will take special interest in imparting the women's hope.
The overall objective of this organization is training. And training is important. To be successful in anything, training is important. And to train a woman, you are training a nation.
As SDG champion, wife of Ogun State Governor Mrs. Bamidele Abiodun said machineries for credible initiatives to promote women in the state were on.
Because supporting projects that work to empower women in our society is a passion for me. Maybe because I have always been enterprising, but I believe that women have the capacity to achieve so much if they are provided the correct opportunities, guidance, and support. I look forward to the impact this will have on our communities, because initiatives like these should have a ripple effect that will transcend the participants themselves to a larger society. Let me speak to the women, sister to sister. Let us not sit down and be waiting for the men. You don't have to sit down and wait for them.
International Federation of Training and Development Organizations, IFTDO, is a worldwide network of organizations for human performance, productivity, and sustainable development. Adebola Oshomoji, Ogtv News.
The governor of Ogun State, Prince Dapo Abiodun, has given the 2 best graduating students of the Gateway ICT Polytechnic Shakwade automatic employment with the institution. The governor, who was represented by the Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology in the state, Professor Abayomi Arigbabu, made the pronouncement at the first convocation ceremony held at the Polytechnic's newly completed 2,000 capacity Prince Dapo Abiodun's Leadership Development Center. Elizabeth Esson completes the story.
Established in the year 2006 with other ICT polytechnics spread across the state, the Gateway ICT Polytechnic Shakpade has distinguished itself in terms of developmental turnarounds and academic excellence. Commemorating its fourth convocation ceremony was commissioning of well-equipped facilities which will further boost the learning condition of the students. Speaking during the convocation, the rector, Gateway ICT Polytechnic Shakpade, Dr. Isaiah Oyeyinka, while commending the present administration in the state, confirmed that the institution has witnessed geometric expansion in infrastructure, number of accredited courses, quality graduates, among others, under the leadership of Prince Dakwa Abeokuta.
Your Excellency, I would like to place it on record that the Gateway Polytechnic under your able leadership is the first and only institution for now to be granted approval to run any renewable energy engineering program in Nigeria. We have been able to maintain very strong examination system in this institution. Our biometric verification and computer-based examination and other devices and methods have strengthened the polytechnic academic system and have improved the quality of our graduates. We don't have a single case of impersonation during our exams anymore.
Prince Dakwa Abeokuta, who was represented by the Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, Professor Abayomi Arigbabu, reaffirmed the state government's commitment at providing technical capacity for students to nurture their potentials for future development.
As a matter of fact, we will continue to improve our policy formulation and program implementation towards ensuring the development of the education sector in general.
To encourage others, the governor gave 2 of the best graduates from the 2 sessions, automatic employment and the Polytechnic. Awards were given to 144 best graduates, both at national diploma and higher national diploma levels in 2019-2020 and 2020-2021 academic sessions. Awards of honor were also presented to private individuals who have contributed to the development of the institution, among whom was also the rector, Gateway ICT Polytechnic Shakpade, Dr. Isaiah Oyeyinka. Elizabeth Esson, Ogtv News.
Ogun State Universal Basic Education Board, SUBEB, says it will continue to prioritize the provision of qualitative education to all pupils towards acquiring appropriate levels of literacy, numeracy, and communication skills, with emphasis on information and communication technology as well as infrastructure development. The Executive Secretary of the Board, Mr. Wasiu Kuye, who stated this while taking his turn to defend the 2022 budget proposal of SUBEB before the state lawmakers, disclosed that over 1.50 billion naira will be spent during the next fiscal year. Kola Wale Osho, our correspondent, covered the exercise, and the details are in this package.
Going 2022 budget defense by MDAs at Ogun State Universal Basic Education Board, SUBEB, among other agencies who came to defend their budget provision for the next fiscal year. The Executive Secretary of the Board, Mr. Wasiu Kuye, who led other management team, disclosed that proposed budget of 1.50 billion naira comprised 577.2 million naira for capital projects and 927.8 million naira for recurrent expenditure, with revenue target fixed at 10.6 million naira. Kuye noted that the board intended to rehabilitate 47 classrooms across the state to the tune of 238.9 million naira, just as another 1.16 billion naira was set aside for the construction of 80 classrooms and rehabilitation of another 60 classrooms respectively, as well as 20 toilets, amongst other facilities expected to be carried out from the federal government's intervention funds to the tune of 3.672 billion naira.
The bulk of our IGR comes from tenders. That's where the bulk comes from. So we are hopeful that by next year we are going into another intervention. We are going to utilize another intervention fund, and good contractors will now bid for different projects.
Also, the chairman, State Teaching Service Commission, Evangelist Olalekon Ifede, defended a total budget of 22.92 billion naira, which included 140.9 million naira for capital expenditure, 22.78 billion naira for recurrent expenditure, while 3.18 million naira was expected to be generated as revenue into the government's coffers in the next fiscal year. Ifede noted that the objective of the 2021 budget was to maximize the quality level of teaching through intellectual professionalism, thereby providing equitable, qualitative, and affordable educational opportunities for all, in addition to improved capacity development for teaching and non-teaching members of staff for effective service delivery. Leading the State Library Board to the exercise, Director of Library Services, Mr. Franklin Giwa, suggested that there should be an automation of library in the state where higher institutions and other users would have easy access to library facilities.
The management meeting of the Ministry of Education, the way to go is automation of libraries. And when you talk about automation, people think you are talking about the internet. The internet is not automation. We are talking about uploading the resources of a library and making them available from a remote access.
The 2022 budget defense continues.
President Muhammadu Buhari is billed for Istanbul, Turkey to attend the third Turkey-Africa Partnership Summit. A statement by the President's Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, said the President will depart on Thursday. The summit, with the theme Enhanced Partnership for Common Development and Prosperity, is being hosted by President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. According to the statement, the summit will review the cooperation between African countries and Turkey since the last summit in 2014. The third Turkey-Africa Partnership Summit is coming shortly after a recent state visit of President Erdogan to Nigeria, during which several agreements in the fields of energy, defense, industry, and hydrocarbons were signed to expand existing bilateral ties. It is expected that the summit will provide guidelines and direction for cooperation with African countries for the next 5 years. President Buhari is to return to Nigeria on Sunday, 19th December 2021. The President of the Senate, Ahmad Lawan, felicitates President Muhammadu Buhari on his 79th birthday. Lawan said Nigeria is blessed to have Buhari at the helm of its affairs, adding that the President is passionate about the country's unity, security, and prosperity. In a statement by his spokesman, Olawuniyi, Lawan acknowledged the President's purposeful leadership, vision, courage, and steadfastness in the pursuit of the right cause and common good. The National Judicial Council, NJC, has punished 3 judges who issued conflicting orders in the leadership crisis that dogged the People's Democratic Party, PDP, this year. Okogbule Basam of the High Court of Rivers State, Nusrat Umar of the High Court of Kebbi State, and Edem Kufri of the High Court of Cross River State were barred by the NJC from elevation to either the Court of Appeal or the Supreme Court, while Mr. Basam and Ms. Umar were blocked from promotion to the higher bench for 2 years. Mr. Kufri's sanction carries 5 years. It will be recalled that in 1 week, 3 courts in different states issued counter orders about the office of the national chairman of the PDP. On August 24, the Rivers State High Court in Port Harcourt restrained Uche Secondus from parading himself as PDP national chairman. However, in another twist, the Kebbi State High Court in Benin Kebbi restored Mr. Secondus' mandate as the national chairman of the opposition PDP on August 27, a day after Mr. Secondus' reinstatement. Another, the High Court in Calabar, Cross River State, issued an interim order restraining him from resuming office as PDP chairman. Now to the only business news. The governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, has said most of the roads constructed in the country would be told to repay the loans used to fund them. Emefiele said this while answering questions after the 2-day retreat of the Bankers Committee in Lagos. According to him, within the financial system, there were a lot of idle funds that can be channeled if packaged the way the Infrastructure Corporation of Nigeria Limited has been set up to give comfort to the local investors to put their funds in the project. He said most of the funds would be in Naira because the banks and pension fund administrators have large pool of funds and most of the funds can be raised locally before the country begins to think of accessing international finance. Foreign news. Queen Elizabeth II has cancelled a traditional pre-Christmas family lunch next week, reports said Thursday, as coronavirus cases surged in Britain. The 95-year-old monarch, who has cut back on her engagements since an overnight hospital stay in October, is understood to have made the decision as a precaution. Buckingham Palace was yet to formally confirm the move, but sources told several UK media outlets that the annual event has been axed for a second consecutive year owing to the pandemic. She was forced to cancel the family party last year because of strict rules on social distancing and indoor mixing. The Queen usually hosts her extended family, including her children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, as well as cousins, at the palace in the run-up to Christmas. This Christmas is her first since the April death of Prince Philip, her husband of 73 years. The Queen, who is fully vaccinated, resumed royal duties earlier this year following the funeral and official mourning period for Philip. Sports news. Only fans